Toy Fair is a massive fair that's held here in Perth, Western Australia, my hometown, every 3 months. And for the last 3 years, I've been selling there with my friend Adrian. So we've been selling a lot of like Pokemon, He-Man and Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Transformers, a lot of vintage kind of stuff and some modern. I've got comics and video games, all manner of things. So yes, I was there selling in the one in April, just passed, and the next one is on the 18th of July. So before I show you the comics that I picked up from my local comic book shop, I just want to show you some of the stuff I picked up at Nexus. One of the things that Nexus sells a lot of is Lego minifigures. So sometimes official Lego, but more often than not unofficial knockoff Lego. There's like tables and tables there, and there's pretty much a character you can think of from every pop culture franchise around the world. So I did pick up a few of the Lego minifigures for myself. So we've got Ram Man and Many Faces from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and here we got Peacemaker and Wolverine for my nephew, and I picked up a few others as well. We've got Chucky here, we got Cyborg Superman, we've got Gandalf, Batman, and of course He-Man. So yes, they're not exactly Lego figures, but they're close enough, and I've got a few Lego figures on the shelf behind me, so they will fit in quite nicely. Being a seller at Nexus means you don't really get a lot of time to get outside of the table, get away from the table and have a look around, but there's normally almost 200 vendors. There's a whole bunch of people. It's a very popular event every 3 months, so I didn't really pick up a lot of things for myself. The Lego minifigures when I had a few times to pop out every now and then, and I did flick through some of the comics. There were some pretty cool graded comics as well there, but I didn't really pick anything. The temptation is to spend everything that you make, but I certainly didn't want to do that. But I did get this, which is pretty awesome. The seller gave it to me for 30 bucks. He had a nice collection of DC Direct figures from Infinite Crisis from the early 2000s series. I do have my original OMAC, One Man Army Corps. Remember the awesome redesign of the OMAC? I did have my figure from 20 years ago now, but his fin like on his head is all broken and his arms are falling off, so he's not in the best condition. I'll probably keep this on the card, and yes, we can see on the back we've got Superboy Prime and Alexander Luthor, Power Girl, and Mongol. It's interesting that One Man Army Corps OMAC looks a bit different on the back, not as much detail as the actual figure got, but yeah, pretty cool, and interchangeable hands and a little stand as well. So yeah, I love these figures. DC Direct did some absolutely awesome stuff, so happy to add him to my collection for $30. And the next thing I got was also from DC. Got this wonderful Harley Quinn poster for free. That's one of the wonderful things about being a vendor there. You can kind of do deals with each other, I guess, before the crowds come in, and also while you're packing up. And I was packing up and I noticed one of the vendors had this, and he also had a Spider-Man Homecoming poster, which he was trying to give away for like $5. He didn't want to take it home, and he saw me looking, so I did take the both. He gave them to me for free, which is lovely. I gave the Spider-Man Homecoming poster to my friend Ryan the Collector Kid. Definitely give his channel I follow on YouTube. But yes, this was pretty awesome. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but yeah, obviously it's the cover to Harley Quinn #1, her first series from 2000, by Terry and Rachel Dodson. Absolutely awesome in a classic costume. So, and as you can see, it's pretty big as well. So very happy to add that to my collection. Wonderful piece of DC art for free. And now on to some new comics. I've only got 3 comics that I picked up from my LCS this week. So I picked up G.I. Joe 20, and I showed that off in my last video. This is G.I. Joe 21, and we've got Storm Shadow and Scarlet there. And much like the original series from the 80s, issue 21, this is largely a silent issue, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, lots of action, lots of cool character redesigns. I think I've mentioned before that I love what Hasbro were doing with their G.I. Joe classified action figures, and just some of the redesigns of some classic characters. So pretty awesome. And yeah, I just love the fact that in the back few pages they've kind of got some like a bit of lore or a bit of expansion about who the characters are, so even if you're not familiar with the G.I. Joe characters, you at least know who they are to kind of follow along with the story. But yes, lovely art. So this is by Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, and colours by Lee Lockridge. So yes, and that's just a fabulous cover. So G.I. Joe 21 by Image and Skybound Entertainment. I mentioned Superboy Prime and Infinite Crisis with the OMAC action figure. So this is a pretty cool cover. So this is Superman number 36. I love that they're bringing the corner boxes back. Absolutely fabulous. And this is very fun and light, and yeah, kind of carries on from the DC KO event, and just Superboy Prime being kind of reimagined and reintroduced as a kind of meta character who loves DC Comics. And so here he gets a job at a comic book store, which is absolutely awesome. And yeah, he's kind of becoming like DC's version of Deadpool to some degree, I guess. So yeah, pretty awesome. So yes, he wants to deal with a new life, start a new life for himself. So he talks to Lois Lane and he introduces himself to the reader on the first page, which is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to this and the rest of the reign of the Superboys storyline. Lastly, Absolute Batman issue, 19. This is kind of where the new Robins in this Absolute Batman universe are kind of expanded upon as a program. And yes, it's pretty cool. Not as kind of fun and colourful and light as the Superman issue. It's a lot more dark and violent and gritty. But yes, it's got all 5 Robins here. So pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to where the rest of this story goes. I don't think I'm going to pick up every issue of these, but I am a fan of these characters, and I'm a fan of what the reimaginings looks like. So I'm pretty curious to see where some of the highlights of this story go. So there we go. Just some of my stuff from Nexus that I picked up, the Nexus Toy Fair, and just 3 of my comics that I picked up from my local comic book store. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you at the next one.